Hey everybody, it's Jim. I'm here with a weekend grabs and reviews video. I haven't done one of these for a couple of months. So as you can probably guess, I have gotten probably hundreds of new DVDs in that time. So I thought I would just go through and um, got a couple stacks here. Give a quick review of some of them that stand out, some of them that maybe you might not have heard about, some lesser known titles. It's easy to do reviews of new things that have come out because most people have seen them, but let's try to hit some of these lesser known titles, shall we? So let's get started. I'm going to start this off with a bang. It's a movie, Blood Rage, from Arrow US. This is a 1983 movie, and it is absolutely fantastic. Not only is the movie great, the packaging that Arrow does on these DVDs is something quite special too. So you get the original cover, plus you get the reverse cover. I'm sorry, this is the original cover. Then you get this new cover. It's a 3-disc set. And this movie is basically about a couple of twins go to drive in, and one of them seems to have a nose for trouble, so he gets in some trouble and gets sent away for murder. And he decides that he's had enough, and he escapes. And he comes back to find his brother and his parents. And as you can kind of guess, the way these movies kind of go, the one that actually got put away is the innocent one, and the one that's kind of evil is the one that's been loose all this time. So it's just a really good film about how all that plays out. I would highly suggest this, especially from Arrow Films. They do such a great transfer on these. It looks beautiful. It is a great movie. Like the tagline says, this Thanksgiving, it's not cranberry sauce. And boy, it wasn't. It wasn't cranberry sauce. I would highly recommend Blood Rage here on Arrow, releasing US. Up next, we have Hangman. This is a strange movie. It's kind of a found footage film where everything's seen through the lens of a camera for the most part. So what happens is this family goes on vacation. This guy, he kind of stalks the parking garages. He finds out where this family lives through the GPS in their car. Goes to their house, takes up residency there, sets up some cameras and such, and he just kind of waits for them to come back home. So as they come home, he lives in this house in the attic. He kind of makes a false wall and things like that. It's kind of like a Bad Ronald takeoff as far as that's concerned. But he just kind of terrorizes this family, and strange things happen, and they can't explain it, and they think they hear things, but they can't find anything. And so this is a really good found footage movie if you like that kind of thing. I know sometimes it seems old and boring, but this is a new take on it. The end is a pretty good twist, and I would, if you're a good, if you're a fan of good found footage movies and kind of strange endings, this is your movie. Up next, let's try this one. It's an old movie from 1991. It's called Shock 'Em Dead. It's about a guy that he sells his soul to the devil to become the best guitar player in the world and everything that goes with it, because he's just kind of a ragtag guitar player. He goes to an audition. He's horrible. The band kind of laughs at him and is like, yeah, well, you're not good enough to be in this band. So they kind of kick him out, and he's all despondent because he's really kind of a loser. And he makes a deal with the devil. He goes back and he's all thrashed out and got the clothes and the hair and everything, and he just shreds the guitar. And so the manager for this group is Tracy Lords. Yeah, that Tracy Lords. And so she's infatuated with this guy, and it's just about how when you owe the devil, you're probably pretty much not going to win. So it's a really good story. It's a great movie. It's an old movie. So if you haven't seen it, you owe it to yourself to check that one out. Once again, it's Shock 'Em Dead here on Blu-ray. This next one is Rock the Casbah with Bill Murray. I just read an article last week, I think, that this was one in the top 20 of the biggest box office flops of all time. I've seen some flops. I've seen some really bad movies. This was not one of them. I thought it was pretty good. It's a good family movie. There's nothing in here that the whole family couldn't watch. It's just about a manager for he manages musical acts, and so he's trying to find that big hit that's going to make him finally the manager of the superstar. He's got all these great stories, but you're really not sure if they're true or not. Probably not, knowing Bill Murray. And so he gets a gig over in Afghanistan, and he takes his main star with him over there, and she just falls apart because of all the war torn areas that they're in and everything. She just can't take it, so she bails on him. And so she takes his passport and all these kind of things, and he's trying to find a way to get back home. And through the travels that he does and all this, he finds this young lady. She's from Afghanistan that sings, which is a big no-no over there. So they're supposed to be covered and not supposed to be heard pretty much. And so he enters her on this TV show, and so the city's kind of torn because this is against their culture and all this kind of stuff. And so is he going to make her a star, or is he going to get stoned to death? You'll have to watch it and see. But definitely not a big stinker like a lot of people say. I'm not sure what this is. Probably like a rated 5 on IMDb. It's probably a better movie than that. It's not that bad. So up next, this is a really fun film. This is Freaks of Nature here on Blu-ray. This is something that you've never seen before. It's a town where they the McRib type sandwich originated. That's their claim to fame in this town. You would think that the fact that there's humans, vampires, and zombies that all live in this town, you would kind of think that that would be enough to put them on the map. But I guess the McRib sandwich just had to be the icing on the cake. So like I said, they got the zombies, the humans, and the vampires that all kind of figured out a way to live together. And they do a pretty good job at this until the aliens show up. And so once the aliens show up, all the different groups kind of blame each other for the aliens being there. The humans are like, are the vampires in with the aliens? Are they trying to wipe us out? And, the zombies just kind of, they really don't know what's going on. But so there's a big fight between all the groups and everything. And you kind of figure out later that the aliens are there, of course, on their own accord, and they have their own agenda, and how this town pulls back together to fight the aliens. So it's a great comedy, great horror. It's called Freaks of Nature here on Blu-ray. I would definitely say that if you like a horror comedy, definitely check this one out. This is a good one. Up next is Eaten Alive. This is here by on Blu-ray again by Arrow Video. This is like a 1975 and 1976. This stars what is his name? Boone. Oh my gosh, I've completely lost his name. You've seen this guy in millions and millions of movies and everything, but basically what the deal is he runs this old dilapidated hotel, and for any guests that kind of upset him, he tends to kind of feed you to his pet alligator that lives in the swamp there next to the hotel. There's no rhyme or reason to why he does what he does. They've never explained it, but it's just a good old-fashioned cheesy slasher type he's going to beat you and then throw you into the alligator pit type movie. So it's a classic. If you haven't seen it, you need to check it out. I know I've seen this a million times on VHS and stuff at different places, but I had to pick it up on Blu-ray just because it's one of those movies you have to have in your collection. It's a really good one. Up next is The Perfect Guy. Now this stars what is his name? I've completely lost my my names now. His name is Michael Ealy. Michael Ealy. That's Michael Ealy right here. If you watch the last season of The Following, you know who he is because he was a great bad guy. He plays a great bad guy in this as well. He what the deal is she is in love with him. They have a split up. She decides, she's going to try the waters because he really didn't have his head set where she thought that they should be going as a couple. So then she runs into Michael Ealy over here, and he's a perfect guy. He likes everything she likes. He's a hit with her family. The dad loves him. He's a great guy. And then one day she kind of sees he has a temper, and he kind of snaps, beating a guy for no reason. And so she kind of distances herself from him, and he has anger issues that she can definitely start seeing. He starts to show anger issues with her, so she's like, that's it, I'm done with you, you need to get away from me. And then it turns into one of those, if I can't have you, nobody will type scenarios. So it all goes down from there. Will he get her? Will the cops stop him in time? Will the ex-boyfriend, is he going to come back in the scene and save the day? You have to check it out and see. It was just a so-so movie. It was good for a watch. I don't know about if I'd ever rewatch it again. I might check it out if it's on HBO, just stop and see where it's at. But It was just okay. Up next is a classic in my opinion. This is Jack Palance and Chevy Chase, Cops and Robertsons. And it's so funny because as soon as I bought this, I saw that it's in rotation on like HBO or Cinemax or something. It's like it never fails. I was like, oh, I love that movie. I don't have that movie. I have to get that movie because, what's the chances of me ever seeing it again? And then it shows up on HBO. So it's just like that, especially if you buy a new car or something, then all of a sudden you start seeing them all over the road. It's one of those deals. But anyway, it's a great movie. It's a great comedy. Kind of learn about your family and how important they are to you and all that. It has a message with it. So basically, Chevy Chase lives door to this crime lord. Jack Palance is a cop that basically moves in with him so he can keep an eye on the bad guy. And it's how the family takes to Jack Palance's character and how Chevy Chase feels like he's put out because everybody likes the cop more than they like him. And it's just a really good movie. It's a fun movie. It's a classic Chevy Chase movie for sure. So if you're a Chevy Chase fan, you haven't seen this, definitely go check this out. Like I said, it's an older one, but it's a good one. Next we have Frankenstein, and this is a pickup that I got just this past weekend. This just came out last Tuesday. Every once in a while, you'll see a reimagination of the old Mary Shelley's Frankenstein story, and this is what this is. This is the 2015-16 version of what Frankenstein would be like, and it's just kind of shown through the eyes of the monster, and I kind of felt bad for the monster because it's due to no fault of his own, that's the way he is. And it has a lot of the classic scenes. It has the blind man scene played by Tony Todd, really good. It has the little girl scene, just like the classic Frankenstein. I will say that this is probably one of the best Frankenstein takes in recent memory, other than the classics. I would definitely check this out, but I will caution you that there is a mob scene thrown in the middle of it for absolutely no reason. It just kind of shows up, and I was really put on. It kind of took me out of the story because it was so stupid. But all in all, this is a great movie. I would definitely recommend checking it out. It is kind of gory, probably not for the younger kids, but pretty good. I'd check it out. Up next, The Final Girls. And this is an awesome comedy horror movie as well. The girl's mom, she's a scream queen, and she dies in a terrible car accident. And so a year later, they're doing a film festival of, I can't remember what the name of the movie was. It was like Blood Camp or something like that, whatever it was. So they're going to a screening of that in honor of her late mother's career. And so while they're in the theater, it kind of catches on fire. And to get out of there, they cut the screen and kind of go through the screen. Well, when they do that, they go into the movie. So you have all these horror movie savvy kids now that are in the movie, and they understand exactly what you should or shouldn't do to survive a horror movie. And it's just really good. I really enjoyed this. The watchability on this one is up tenfold. I can watch this 100 times. It's a really good movie. It's got a really great cast, and it's kind of odd if you watch the movie or the TV show Vikings. Ragnar's son is in this, and it's just kind of weird seeing him play a different role than that. I've never seen him in anything other than that, but great horror comedy movie. Definitely check that one out. Next, American Ultra. This is Jesse Eisenberg, plays a kind of a supermarket rat. He works there. He really doesn't have much on the ball. And then one day he just kind of gets activated by a customer that says a certain word to him, a certain phrase to him, and something clicks. And the agent that he has been trained to be actually comes to the surface, which he had no idea that he was a trained agent, a trained killer. And so it's just a story on how he figures out how he was actually an agent and why he is an agent and why he's been kind of put to sleep all this time. It's a really good story. It's a lot more violent than I thought it would be. It's super violent. It's got a great cast in it. I'm not normally a big fan of Kristen Stewart, but I think this was pretty good for her. I kind of like this. I know that this one didn't do as well either at the theaters or anything, but I would definitely recommend checking this out if you like action movies. It actually was pretty good, and it kind of set it up for a 2, and I hope they do a 2 because I would definitely check that out as well. Up next is Deathgasm. As you can see, crazy thing about this, if you're interested in this after I talk about it, and you go to Walmart to buy it, don't look for Deathgasm. You look for Heavy Metal Apocalypse, because this title was too offensive to be released at Walmart. But this is another one of those horror comedies that I love. And basically what it amounts to is that there is some sheet music that once you play this riff, it kind of raises the demons. And so these kids, they find this sheet music, and of course they play it, and the town just, all hell breaks loose basically. And so they're trying to figure out how to get out of this and how to make everything go back to normal. It's a really good movie. I can't think of anybody that is in this that actually has been in anything else. But like I said, if you like the horror comedy stuff, definitely check this out. It's a good movie, and if you're looking for it at Walmart, what are you looking for? That's right, Heavy Metal Apocalypse, not Deathgasm. Lastly, we have a movie here just on DVD because I couldn't wait for the Blu-ray. It's a movie called Howl. And if you're a fan of werewolf movies and things of that nature, definitely get this movie. This is really, really good. This is a movie about a train in England, and as a down-and-out ticket taker on this train. He hates his job. He wishes he could be more in life. And so the train's just chugging along. He's taking the tickets from all the customers and everything. And he, as they're going through the trip, the train hits a deer, and so it has to stop. The conductor, he goes and he has to clear the carcass from underneath the train so the train can get going. So while he's out there, he's mauled and attacked. So the other passengers kind of put two and two together. Finally, they figure out that there's something out there. It's a bear, or it's some kind of a large cat or something. So it's just about how they're going to survive, if they're going to survive. And so they also kind of figure out that if you get bitten or scratched by whatever this is out in the woods, you kind of turn into a werewolf yourself or some kind of a beast. So it's a really good movie, a good take. It's got a lot of great practical effects. I'm a fan of practical effects. Even if they're bad practical effects, I would rather see that than a bunch of CGI. And this has a combination of both, but a lot of practical effects that are done very well. Highly recommend this, Hal. So check it out. If you can't wait for Blu-ray, can't find it on Blu-ray, I think Best Buy is the only place that carries it on Blu-ray, but they didn't have it. Definitely check it out. You can get it at Walmart for like $12, $9. So definitely suggest that one. So anyway, guys, that's it for me. Hope you found this informative. Hopefully I've piqued your interest on some of these movies. You go out and pick them up and let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.